Okay, well, I think we can make a start now. So thank you for joining. Today's topic for our live stream are scripts, and they are kind of the screenplay for the customer experience, that end customer's experience in the contact center. So these are the scripts that the agents themselves are following as they guide that end customer through that experience with the contact center. So we're going to be talking about that throughout this presentation. And what are we going to cover? Kind of an agenda for the call today, or for the session today. Some of the more fundamental features of those contact center scripts, and maybe more up-to-date capabilities that are being used. We'll look at some expert tips or best practices, what some of your peers in the industry are doing with their scripts, and how they're saving seconds off that call time. So we're always on that exploring how we can shave seconds off the duration of a call, give an excellent customer experience, but do it in the shortest time possible. So we'll be looking at some time-saving features as well as we go through this session today. But first, we should introduce ourselves. And I think I'll let 𝐮𝐬𝐢𝐬𝐢𝐬𝐢𝐬𝐢𝐬𝐢𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬
is 𝐮𝐬𝐢𝐧𝐠, and I would like to thank you very much for accepting my invitation. And I can see in the participants list that these are all my guests here, but just kidding. So thanks, Gavin, also, and for our marketing team for inviting the participants for today. I'm really happy to be here, and it's not just a phrase. So the topic itself really touches me. I worked a lot with scripts as a supervisor before. For 10 plus years now, I'm at VCC Live as a contact center provider. But before that, I worked as a supervisor, team lead, and agent. So I use scripts, I built up scripts. So it's really an exciting topic for me still. So I'm happy to be here.
Thanks, 𝐿𝐬𝐢𝐧𝐠. Well, I should introduce myself. So my name's Gavin Stewart. I'm a channel sales manager here at VCC Live. I have been in this industry for more than 20 years, working for on-premise vendors in the past, and in more recent years, working for cloud solutions in this space. So I have some experience in the industry from the vendor perspective. So, right. 𝐿𝐬𝐢𝐧𝐠, you worked on the coal face. You were a supervisor in the contact center. So give us a feeling for how these evolved over the years and decades.
Yeah, thank you very much, Gavin. So first of all, a short history about how it started at the early beginnings. I wasn't there at that time, but I was there later. So it all started in 1950s, 60s, in the early era of contact centers in the mid 20th century, when scripts were just often a simple guideline or how to introduce yourself, how to ask key questions, and they were really manually operated. And scripts were often written on a paper. Sometimes it still happens, to be honest, and notepads, and you could see really these post-its on the screen and around. So I actually lived in there, so it was even later on that you could see. But when the growth of the contact center era started in 1970, 80, then it grew in popularity. That was the time of rise of telemarketing, and scripts became more structured. So they were designed better, and scripts were still often rigid. On the other hand, agents managed to follow them word for word to maintain uniformity, and then for the supervisors to have the control. So it was already better. And then at the age of around year 2000, that was the rise of internet and CRM. And that's when scripts became more and more data driven. So with agents using the information from a CRM systems to tailor their conversations. So that was a key game changer at that time. And the modern era and the AI integration part, let's call it this way, from 2010 approximately, advanced analytics and AI, that's what we are talking about these days. And modern call center scripts increasingly integrated now with these tools, so with AI and advanced analytics. And why it's good? Because AI can now suggest real-time responses for agents, and with this, you can improve the accuracy and the relevance of the script based on the customer history and the context of the call. So that's just a short history, how we reached AI and how scripts became better and better throughout the years.
How are call center scripts being used in the present day? And some of this is what might be ideally in place, and some, you may see some difference in reality. The reality in many scenarios is not quite ideal just at this point. But ideally, you would like to see the agent script integrated into the agent's interface. The agent's using some kind of computer interface. They got one screen, multiple screens, and we would like to see that agent script integrated into that interface. In reality, many times they're using a separate application or a separate browser tab, which means there's a certain degree of jumping around, at the very least jumping between screens, but a certain degree of jumping around between applications or tabs. And that leads to the issues of context shifting and is maybe not just ideal. Also, we would like to present relevant information to the agent at the appropriate point of the call or the workflow. And by relevant information, what is the crux of it just at that instance? Not too much, don't overwhelm them with vast amounts of text, but just the right thing at the right time. And that can be sometimes a challenge. So that's what you should be looking to achieve if it's possible. And then change that as you go through the call. Again, keep it very relevant for the agent at that instant in the call flow. Of course, we've got many business applications. Maybe the most common one is a CRM, customer relationship management. And we can benefit by linking CRM or other business applications to the script, because there's information you can pull and pop onto the screen of the agent or put in front of the agent at the appropriate instance. Or you could push information from the script or from maybe the disposition that the agent sets. So somehow they gathered some information and we want to push that into a CRM system or some other business application. That is hugely beneficial. And Elimir will talk about some of this later on. And the goal here is to create both a better experience for the customer and the agent. So both parties here should have a better experience if we do this right. Now, the last point here is something kind of separate, but I want to just call it out. We're talking about scripts, so that kind of the wording that the agent is going to use and that guides them through that call flow. But there are other resources that the agent uses on that call flow. There may be static pages, and we could think of these as data sheets. So there's some other resources, and we'll come to these later on, like for objection handling or whatever it might be. But there are product sheets or knowledge bases, some kind of data resource that the agent's going to need and use during the course of the call. So the two things work hand in hand, the actual script and the data sheets or the resources that the agent uses as it goes through the workflow. No, Elimir, I believe you're going to...
Yeah, thanks. Let's talk about why step-by-step guides are important, especially in customer service environments. So first of all, customers today expect instant responses, and some surveys show that even they expect under 0.25 seconds responses, because then the communication and the response time with the flow between the agent and the customer, this is more connected and it's a seamless experience this way. So it's a huge difference when they can react quickly and conversation is flowing smoothly, and it can then maintain the customer satisfaction. But how can you achieve this? One key method is preparing your agents, and not only by training them, but preparing them with most of the most likely scenarios that they can face during the calls either in a chat or in via emails. And then it comes together. So when agents, they know exactly how to respond on common inquiries, then they can act quickly and confidently, even on further things. But obviously, it can happen that the agents, they go off script. And this is also important because then, they can start improvising, they struggle with the answer, there is an unfamiliar question, so it's hard. And it can obviously, again, cause longer waiting times, uncertainty. So again, we are back to that the customer satisfaction decreases. But then how can you avoid that? So the beauty of these step-by-step guides is that they reduce the chance your agents going off track and ensuring more consistent and high quality responses. And here you can see, why it's important. So that's an image from the office video movie. And it's really true. So when your agent is there struggling and improvising, well, step-by-step guide is important, and that actually shows why it is that important.
Yeah, I think step-by-step guides are very important, and let's not lose sight of this. I'll mention it a few times maybe, is of course you've got experienced agents in your contact center and you've got new agents. And my goodness, you want to do everything possible to assist those new agents as they get introduced to the process and gain experience over the weeks and months. So that's an important factor. And these step-by-step guides are a way to help them and the more experienced agents. The goal is, of course, an improved end customer experience. That's always our goal here. And we can, by use of a step-by-step guide, you can ensure consistency or brand, maintain the brand for the end customer in that communication experience. So that consistency matters. And some industries, they're regulated, and there are compliance regulations that have penalties if they're not met. So the script can ensure that we address those compliance aspects, make sure that they're dealt with properly. And we can use the information gathered as part of this to personalize that experience for the end user. So we're gathering information as part of this various steps in the script, and we can personalize the end customer experience, make it better for that end customer. From the agent perspective, they'll be delighted if we can remove repetitive tasks, or at least minimize them. So that's a well-designed script can certainly minimize repetitive tasks and move the agent smoothly and speedily through the script, and that turns into a better experience for the end customer. So scripts are being used in both inbound and outbound, and being used for all kinds of things. So a customer might be threatening to cancel their subscription, and then we make an outbound call and we offer them some alternative and try to retain their business. Or we have an inbound call, and maybe we see that as an opportunity to sell them some other service or upsell them on something new. So that there are possibilities here that we'll touch upon as we go through this complete session today. So things to keep in mind when you're designing this script. It shouldn't be too awkward or artificial. It's a bit hard to get your hands around that, but you don't want to have this awkward feeling for the end customer that it's a very fixed and artificial script. More tricky to do, but you will have the option to tweak your script and make it better and better as you get feedback and you see how people react. The script itself needs a degree of flexibility, because we all know that there's a certain range of standard issues that come into the contact center, but there's also this wild variety of extraordinary requests that customers will come in with. And you need to give your agents the flexibility to somehow deal with that. Don't be limited by a script that kind of ties their hands. The scripts nowadays, they can be dynamic. So information that you gather during the script, maybe at the start of the script, you can populate and use later on in the script, again, creating a better experience for all parties. Maybe the last well, second to last point here is fairly obvious, but don't make it overly complex or confusing or too wordy. Yeah, that's easy to do. So certainly in the script, the data sheets may be more wordy, but the script itself should not be confusing or difficult to grasp from the agent's point of view. And the final point is you're learning from previous customer interactions. So probably you have some kind of frequently asked questions or support knowledge base or some kind of body of knowledge. So you can use that and make that available as a resource to the agents so that they can quickly answer the customers and hopefully achieve a greater amount of first call resolution, which is a fine goal to aim for. So some of the ways that you're going to do this, and this is really a static page. So if you look here, you can see here's the script that the agent's using. It will be under this section here, but they have other resources available to them in terms of static pages or resources that they can use. And Elamir in a moment will show you some others, but I'm just going to touch upon objection handling. So let's imagine we're in a contact with a customer, and this customer has raised some objection. They don't want to purchase something because it's too expensive, it's not the right fit, it's whatever. You can see on the left here some of the options. So let's arm the agents with some questions, some talking points, some way that they can address these objections and perhaps win around the customer to perhaps purchase a new subscription or whatever it might be, or make a sale. So let's arm those. Again, think of the new agents, maybe more so. Some of the agents have vast expertise, great experience, and they may know this just by heart. But for the new agents, this can be a vital tool, this type of thing, to help them handle objections. And this is just one example. And Elamir, you can give us some more.
Yeah, sure. And it's really exciting again, I hope for you as well, but for me. So as we navigate through the contact center world and the softwares, there are more valuable features that you can think about. One of them is the ability to access other tools within the script. So one example that we showed with the objection handling is the static pages within call center systems. And what do we mean exactly on static pages? So these are pre-designed, unchanging pages or resources that the agent can quickly refer. So it's really important during a call, I handle the script. I just quickly go back with one click to a part where I can receive assistance and help. Or you can also think about reference tools built in, providing key information without the need to search externally in another tool, in a browser. So in one place, the agent should find everything. Other example can be frequently asked questions, product details, or troubleshooting steps. And another powerful capability of modern contact centers is seamless integration with external tools such as CRM tools. So this is super important. CRM, the customer relationship management tool that is tracking customer history, can show you data, and why it helps the agents, because you can, again, if you can embed it to the interface, then again, they will be in one place and they will have access instantly to valuable customer information. And then later on, it can help them to be more proactive. So they will see the history of the customer, they will see that which communication channels were used, what interactions happened, what was the result of that. So this, if you can build in your workflow, that's a super plus. So without this, I cannot really imagine a script these days. And another useful tool that can be integrated to a contact center software is maps. So if, for example, if your project is about an industry or a category where location-based information is crucial, and that can happen, then Maps is really a good plus. Again, you don't have to switch to another tool. And why it's important for the agents? Because they can then easily verify customer addresses. They can plan accurate directions if it's about retail or delivery services. So this is another example why you can build in and how you can empt and how it helps the agents during their work. Furthermore, we already talked about that seconds are always important and second shaving. And what do we mean by that? So these days, I know there are some supervisors between you and I was there as well. So AHT, average handling time, this is crucial. And if you can find some seconds, some moments how you can improve the agent's work, then you can decrease that time, and then they can spend it on more valuable things, such as you offer some categories for the agents to select from. It can be a drop down or radio group where they can even search for values, so they don't have to scroll down between the values. It will be there. When they navigate between pages, auto go next function is cool again, when they can just select the proper answer and then already receive the next question, and then the script can jump to the next page or later on to the most relevant page based on the previous answer. So this is super important, and this can really save time for you. And later on, just another reference with a few clicks after reaching the proper page, they will be able to select the agents. We'll be able to select from the relevant core results, or again, navigate straight forward to the next page. So these are time-saving features, and believe me, if you can add some of them to your script, then you can decrease the handling time per call.
So let's take a look at a workflow, but in terms of a script. So let's think of it in terms of a script. And it's fairly high level because just for the sake of time here. So we'll look at a debt collection workflow and think of it in terms of the script aspect. So let's say on the left, we have a predictive dialer and it's making outbound calls to customers and we're going to do a collection flow for them. Okay, so we know who we're calling. So as the call is delivered to the agent as part of their script, we're going to put the right information on the agent screen. And given this is a collections flow, we're going to have to authenticate this user. So we'll put that on the screen again for the agent, that they have to authenticate the user, and then they can determine, do I have the right person? No. If they click no, then immediately jump to thank you, bye, as part of the script and close the call. If it's yes, you've authenticated them, well, it'll give you the questions or the aspects that you have to cover to be sure you have the right person. And again, as the agent sets the setting, we will immediately jump to the next page. And let's say that's to explain to the end customer, there is a debt, it's outstanding for 2 weeks. What are we going to do about that? And perhaps offer them a pay now option. Again, jump to the relevant section when the appropriate point is clicked by the agent. None of this navigating around the screen to the bottom and clicking next or clicking next multiple times. Now we're going to jump to the right point at the right time. So in our example here, let's offer them an option to pay now. And if they say yes, well, then we can transfer them out to an IVR and collect details, maybe credit card details, or we can keep the agent on the line and do that, but still do it in a compliant credit card industry way to collect that data. Again, the script can guide the agent through that and ensure there are no non-compliant aspects to it. And then perhaps we confirm the payment. We can automatically, when a disposition is set, what the payment has been made, that we send automatically an email to the end customer just to confirm by email as well that we've received the payment and thank you very much. So you can automate this in different ways, collect the information, jump to the relevant parts of the script, and do it in a smooth, a fast way. Like Elamir was saying, shave those seconds off the call flow. Because if you can shave seconds off a call flow, and you can do that for the course of a year, that may be thousands of hours in a modest size contact center if you can save a modest amount of seconds off every single call. It really can become very important indeed. Now, as part of these calls, you've got the customer on the line. Very often, this can be a selling opportunity. The agent has an opportunity, not every call, but some calls, we have the opportunity to sell that end customer something. And the script can be the prompt for the agent to do that. Again, think you have expert agents with huge amounts of experience, and you have brand new agents. So for those brand new agents, the script is the tool that's going to make sure that they don't lose sight of that selling opportunity, where they can offer maybe some new products or services. And as part of this script, if the customer maybe is interested, then we can have built in and automated the discounting. We don't want the agent having to figure out what the discount would be or the final price would be. The script and the automation can do that for them. That will make a smooth flow for the end customer and an easier steps for the actual agent themselves. Allows us to offer personalized offers. And even you could capture that detail into the script, have it linked in to the customer's order entry system, because we have integration. Let's imagine we have integration between that business application and the contact center script. And we can push that and process that order out to the end customer. So we can highly automate that part of the process. So you can see the opportunity there.
Yes, and furthermore, in many businesses, particularly those that are dealing with customer service and sales, scripts need tweaking frequently. So obviously, new products are launched even during the campaign. It's really crucial that scripts they stay up to date, and they need a tool that is easy to be edited. So again, just a short story. So when I was there as a supervisor and something has changed, then it happened, it was in the old time, when with a sheet of paper, I had to walk around and show the agents that what has changed. And obviously, you can be much more effective than that. And another important part is that scripts should be easy to be editable by you or your team, but not the IT. I mean, there should be something, a tool where you can easily react on the changes, and then you don't have to wait for someone who is busy with other tasks. So if you have such a tool, then it's a win. So then you can do it ad hoc. You can handle the ad hoc changes, and you won't need any IT involvement or vendor involvement in the changes. So, as speaking of real-time, ability of on-the-fly editing allows you to adapt these script changes instantly. And other important thing about editable thing is that it's also critical that your scripts are testable. So whenever you do some changes, obviously before go live, you should test it and avoid issues with the ongoing projects. So this is again something to think about. So you need a tool where you can test things before you go live. We mentioned that at the IVR topic before on another webinar. It's also important regarding scripts. Finally, it's often overlooked feature and ability to have templates and the ability to reuse them. So when you have a project that runs these days in September, but you will run the same project in October, then you don't have to build up everything from scratch when the new project starts. So when you can copy that, clone that, and run it, and it just takes some seconds for you to make it happen, then again, you save time, and then you have a really efficient script editor.
Well, and if you've attended previous sessions, you'll have noticed that Captain Obvious has been making us visits in previous months, and this month is no different. So Captain Obvious is talking today about the validity of data. So thank you very much to Captain Obvious. And well, in all seriousness, let's consider this subject because it is a kind of important aspect. So script should be used to help ensure that data is valid and consistent and on the mark for your brand. And the steps that the agent takes and the information that they gather and the information that they enter, that's important. And it's really important if you're in some type of regulated industry that has compliance rules, because those steps, maybe by regulation, and there are penalties maybe if you don't make those, if you don't carry out those steps. So they need to be detailed and recorded in whatever is the prescribed manner. So how might this valid data be, an example of how might it be beneficial? Well, our contract. So let's say we're trying to sell a new subscription service to an end customer, and the scripting tool has guided the agent through that process, and we've gathered all the right information at the right point in the right order. And that's going to ensure that we get a consistent, or as far as possible, a consistent experience, a good contract. We have a higher degree of accuracy, because we don't want to be going through this loop of having to recontact the customer and tweak it and come back again. That's just a waste of time. If we could do it in a very consistent manner, that'd be brilliant. And even better, we could integrate some type of electronic signature method into this process as well. Again, automation, build it into the process, get that sent out by the e-signature method, by email, however it might be done, and get that contract signed and back, and all done smoothly and happily for all parties. Last aspect on this slide is data security. So let's not lose. Well, data security and privacy, the end customer's privacy is an important aspect that's related here. In the contact center, we have access to very often sensitive information, and customer sensitive information. Well, just think about the collections industry, for example. But in many industries, there's sensitive information, and you certainly want the agents to have visibility for what they need. Not what they don't need, but what they need to do their job. But some of those bits of information should not be certainly copyable or editable. They should be tied down. Just present what you need to, and do it in a way that information doesn't escape in some untoward fashion. One area could be the credit card experience. So there are rules around how you handle credit cards, how you record that in terms of audio recordings or screen recordings or whatever it might be. So we have to be in line with that. And the script can help guide the agent through that process and ensure we do that in the proper manner. And finally, let's think about the data that's collected. So let's only collect what we need to collect. Let's not collect, as part of the script, data that's unnecessary. Unnecessary personal data being collected and littered around customer systems or their contact center or wherever it might be, could be a GDPR issue. So that I'll think that through and only collect what is necessary, or perhaps push that to one central resource, maybe the CRM or whatever it might be. So just think that through and collect only the data that is necessary.
Yes, the very valuable insight, and thanks, Gavin. And I hope you are all with us still. Just drop some emojis and likes if you are still here. I hope everybody enjoys the session. Just 3 more slides about scripting tool features, and then we will give you some further information about scripts. So thank you very much for the feedback. Another important part can be during the script. And again, this is something that happened to me as a supervisor. So when you have questions where the answer that the agent selects or that the customer can pick, then usually it happens that unconsciously people pick the first or the last answer. And then whenever it's something that you offer a product upsell or it's a survey, you give options to select from, then it's great to use something like shuffling or randomizing the answers. But coming back to that, so it happened with me. I ran a project, and on one day I experienced this, that when I exported the data after the shift, then somehow the answers were quite resonating. So they were completely the same at some parts, and then we found out that okay, let's do it and randomize sometimes the answer or shuffle around. And then luckily the next day it was much better. So it again can help you to avoid misleading results when you can use this minor manipulation within the script.
Now, knowledge bases or frequently asked questions. Let's touch upon this subject. So probably have some type of resource because you've had multiple queries from customers, and somehow you make that knowledge available to the agents so as they can gain from it, that they don't have to keep repeating it. So we could embed that knowledge base or that frequently asked question as a data sheet within the agent's experience. Could be a web page, needs to be easily searchable. So make that a very straightforward process. That experience that you've gathered over the months and years, make that available to the agents so as they can swiftly, quickly find the answer. Again, first call resolution here. Let's try to answer the end customer first call. It's great for all parties in this interaction. And as we move forward, artificial intelligence, AI, is going to play its role here because it will help us in the findability of those answers. You have known good resources. You have gathered this information and probably collected it somewhere. Let's not go searching the public internet. Who knows what you're going to get? But you have good resources, and AI can be used to aid in finding the right answer and finding it swiftly. So they're arming the agent as early as possible, showing them the most likely answer to the customer's query. So AI is going to play its role there and is already doing so. And what's that going to mean? It's going to mean a better experience. It's going to speed up that workflow, improve the accuracy, improve first call resolution. So that would be great. And as we move forward here, you're going to see AI being used in the actual scripts themselves, making them even more dynamic. 𝐮𝐬𝐬𝐢𝐧𝐠 alluded to this earlier. So we're going to see AI used more and more in the scripting field as well. So 𝐮𝐬𝐬𝐢𝐧𝐠, we're approaching the end, and everybody will be delighted because we're approaching the end. But let's just look at how we're going to gather some information as part of that script. So there's useful business information we've gathered. So how are we going to use it?
Yes, and this is again super important. So when the project finishes and everybody's happy, so then there's the next part. When you have the data, you export it or already exported during connections between systems such as Power BI tools, so business intelligence tools, where you can feed these systems with data that the agents collected. So when you have a good script and you have verified data and everything is in one place, then the next step is that you use this information, and then this can decide what the next project will be about, how you should train the agents further, or how still you should change the script maybe. So this is essential to use that information that you gathered.
Now, most customers, I think, 𝐮𝐬𝐬𝐢𝐧𝐠, they're using some form of quality management in some way. And as part of that process, you can determine, are the scripts being followed by the agents? So that's one thing. Maybe you're going to record the snapshot of the screen as the agent. So are they following the script? Is the script working? Does it bring you the impact that you thought it would bring you? Or how can you adjust it? These are all insights that you can gather through that quality management aspect. So the scripts are part of that, has to be factored in here. And then you can fine tune the script and again, improve the overall experience. All right, the final thoughts. So I think scripts are an important part. A lot of the new agents are really relying upon them. 𝐮𝐬𝐬𝐢𝐧𝐠 has talked about saving seconds and integrating. So 𝐮𝐬𝐬𝐢𝐧𝐠, what points would you like to leave everybody with to think about?
Yeah, if you guys all know me, so I'm someone who likes to support people and support agents. So for me, it's really important that So you use that tools, you use that even the static pages or the integration or the CRM embed to even the shuffling that can lead to misunderstandings. So use the tools that provide your agents with great information, and then they can be better and better via the calls, thanks to the script and the work that you put in that. And also, I would like to highlight the integration and automation. That's something I really believe in. So when you can put your system together with another tool and they communicate with each other, that can bring better scripting, and then also the campaign will have better results.
Excellent. So if you have any questions, we'd be delighted to talk to you. So don't be shy. Feel free to reach out to Elamir or to myself, or to, if you're interested, anybody in BCC will be happy to have a discussion with you. Please do feel free to reach out. But at this point, I'd just like to thank you for your time and your attention, and hopefully we'll see you next month.
Thank you very much. See you soon.